Hi, welcome to my video on the review of Polynomial 1, Introduction to Polynomials. This is the final video in this section, and there's 15 videos before this, so if you went through each of these, you should be ready to handle this review. In doing the review, I have 5 pages, so you need 5 blank pages, including 4 after this one. And if you notice, the score on this could be 40. And when you get your total on the bottom of each page, as you see, you put it here. Then you divide the 40 into that number with a calculator or with a pencil. Change it to a decimal, and then move your decimal 2 places to the right, which is the same as multiplying by 100, and you'll get your percent. So, page 2. So notice on this page, you have all these questions. Pause your video, work out all these answers, and then when you get it all done, then play it back to see if you got it right. And as you get them right, keep track of your numbers and add up the total on your page. Here we go. Which one is not an algebraic term? An algebraic term has no pluses or minus signs, no additions or subtractions. No additions or subtractions, I should say plus. No additions or subtractions. So this one is not an algebraic term. It's actually made up of 2 terms, 5x and y. So this is okay. This is a multiplication, that's a square. So the answer is there's no, in a term, there's no additions or subtractions. So C. Name each coefficient in 7x squared y. The numerical coefficient is a number. That's a 7. The literal coefficient is x squared y. A constant term can be expressed as a term with 0 exponent for the variable. Example, so if you take a 4, then a 4 could be 4x to the 0. Notice 4x to the 0. That's not, note, it's not 4, it's not this. The 0 here is only with the x. So that's 4 times 1. That's why it's a 4. But 4x in brackets to the 0 is just a 1. Be careful. So a constant term has a 0x on the end. That's why it's always on the right when you're writing descending order. Which one is not a constant term? A constant term is a number. When we say constant term, we mean number. So which one? That's a number. 11 is a number. Pi is 3.14. That's a number. So C is not a constant term. It's a 1. So it's a what you call a linear term. Place the unlike term in the blank. We got a x. We got all x's. So that's okay. We got a 3 and a 3 and a 3. These are like terms. The numerical coefficient is a 1. Numerical coefficient is -4. Numerical coefficient is 4. But that's a 4. So C is the unlike term because it's the 4th power is different than the cube. Place the like terms in the blank. So we can take them as we go, or we can do descending order. Your choice. If we go with descending order, we go with the squares first. So they're alike. Then we can go with the x's. Done. And then we can go with the constants. So as long as you have those in one blank, those on another blank, and those on another blank, you have the correct answer. You could do descending if you wish. Simplify. You're adding like terms. We can only add if the terms are the same. That means the same literal coefficients. So 1 is understood. So 6 and 1 is 7. X. That's a plus, a negative, which was a plus. -8 and 5 is -3. And we keep the x squared. We add up the numbers or subtract the numbers and keep the literal coefficient. And like terms here, that's a plus negative. That's a plus negative. So 3x is grouped with -5x plus the -4. So there's the descending order. X's are grouped together, constants. That's a -2x plus 2. D. And let's see, like terms. We have a let's add on the opposite first if you wish. That's -1, and that's plus -6. So the like term is a 2a, and plus negative 6a. They're done. I have a positive 4a squared b. Any more like that? Yes. A squared b there. So a squared b. So they're done. And this is the last one. Now I have grouped together. So 2 and a negative 6 is negative 4a. And that's a 1 understood. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And we get a squared b. And the last term. So this could be, if you want, just subtract a b squared instead of plus a negative. So it's your choice. You won't get marked wrong if you wrote that down or that one down. So remember, when you add, you have to add like terms. So when you add like terms, you add the subtracted numbers and keep the literal coefficient. 8, find the parameter. So we have a 4x. We're going to go around now. 4x, add on 6, add on 5x, add on 4. So we pick them up as you go around. So as you go around, there they are, grouped the like terms because you're adding. So there's the like terms. The x's are grouped together to constants. 4 and 5 makes 9x, and 6 and 4 is 10. So total up your page to see how many you got right. Hopefully everything is going great. And next page. Which one is not a polynomial? A polynomial has exponents that belong to the set of whole numbers. That means they're 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So the exponents can only be 0, 1s, 2s, can't be a half, can't be negatives, can't be irrational numbers. So this is okay because that's a 1 and a 1. That's a 2, that's okay. That's a 1 and a 1. So that one's okay, that one's okay. So then this is a negative 2 exponent, even though there's a 1 right there. This is a negative 2 and we can't have that. So that's the one that's not a polynomial. Classify as mon, bi, or tri. Mon means one term. Bi is 2 terms. Tri is 3 terms. So when you got 2 terms, you got a plus or a minus between them. When you got 3 terms, you got pluses and minuses between them. So this is plus, you're adding, so that's a 2, so that's a binomial. That's 1, 2, 3 different terms, so that's 3, so that's a tri. I'm just writing down bi, mon, and tri. 1 term, no subtractions or additions, so that's a 1, so that's a mon. 11, simplify and classify as mon, bi, or tri. So if we have a polynomials, all monomials here being added, so we do descending order, so just do a negative x cubed and a positive 3x cubed. Oops. So that's done. Next is the squares, so 4x squared, negative 4x squared, so that's done. Then we have x's that follow, so 6x right there and another 6x there. And we have a 1 left. Let's see, do we have them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. And we add up these. That's a negative 1 understood, so that's a 2x cubed. That's a 0 because they're plus 4 minus 4. 6 and 6 makes 12x plus 1. So that's a 3 terms. So there's 3 terms, so that's a trinomial. The degree of a monomial is you add up the terms. So that's a 3, a 1, and a 2. So they add up to 6. So the degree is 6. But when you have a binomial or a trinomial or a polynomial, you pick the largest degree of any one term. So this is a trinomial. So the degree of this term is a 2. The degree of this term is a 1. The degree of this term is a 0. Remember, that's x to the 0. That's 4 times 1, which is 4. X squared. See, that's a 2, a 1, so that must be a 0. So the degree of this one is a 2. The degree of this one is 3 plus 3 is 6. The degree of this term is 2 plus 5 is 7. The degree of this one is 1 plus 4 is 5. So the largest degree there is 7. So the degree of this trinomial is 7. It's the largest degree of any one term. And since A is only one term, we just got to say that's a 6. But when there's more terms, we take the largest degree of any one term. Arrange in descending order from highest to lowest, we do the exponents. We got a 1, we got a 2, that's a constant, x to the 0, and that's a 3. So the x cubed goes first, the x squared goes second, the negative 2x goes third, and then the negative 4. Notice when I move these around, I do not change the signs. Simplify and arrange in descending order. Again, descending order is the highest exponent going to next, like a 3 to a 2 to a 1 to a constant. So the highest is a square. So that's a 3x squared minus 2x squared. Squares are gone. Then I got to do the x's. I got an x and a 6x. Do them. Then I got a negative 9 plus 4. And 3 subtract 2 is 1. So I can put a 1 there if I want, but I normally won't see it. It's left out. That's a 1 understood plus 6. So it's x plus 6x is 7x. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. So we simplify the range in descending order. 15, simplify, multiply. Negative times negative is positive, 15, and that's a 1, and that's a 3, so we add. There's 1x there and 3 there, so it's 4. Negative 8, multiply the numbers. A times a is a squared, because it's 1 plus 1. B and b, that's 2 plus 3 is 5. And we got c cubed. No more c's. Negative times a negative times a negative is a negative. 10 times 3 is 30. We have a 1 and a 1, 2. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, so it's x to the 4th. Now, do your score on that page and see how many you got right. Hopefully everything is going okay. Because there's 15 videos that I have on this topic, that the review that I'm going through right now. And this is only the first part of the polynomials. There's another whole set of videos on polynomials too. We've got a cube of this. So negative 2 cubed is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 8. And that's when we have a power of a power, we multiply. Power of a power, we multiply. Remember, that's x cubed times x cubed times x cubed. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. So the short way is to multiply this power out here by each of these powers in here. And don't forget to go. That's negative 2 cubed, which is negative 8. Simplify. Negative, and a negative is a positive. 30 divided by 5 is 6. And we have an x, 7 minus 3 is 4. And 6 minus 1 is 5. Because when we divide, we subtract. When we multiply, we add. And we're dividing in 18. So a good way to do this is to put the 2x to the 4 below each. So 2x to the 4 is divided into the first one, and 2x to the 4 is divided. But if you write it down like this, 4 divided by 2 is 2, and we subtract to get a 2, and 6 divided by 2 is going to, negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, and x to the 4 cancels out, because when you subtract, just watch, if you subtract those, 4 subtract 4 is 0, x to the 0 is 1, so that just becomes a negative 3. And we're dividing here, so we got the 20x to the 5 plus 25x to the 4, 15x cubed. And each one of these are divided by a negative 5x squared. Negative 5x squared. Now you don't have to write it down, but doing it this way ensures that everything is going to be great. Because now I can see that's a negative 4x cubed, because we subtract. That's a negative 5. 2 minus 4, 4 minus 2 is 2. Negative divided by negative is positive, 3, and 3 minus 2 is 1. Understood. So you could have just divided these, like divide that into that and put the answer down. Divide that into this one and put the answer down. So you can do them individually, knowing that this negative 5x squared is divided into each of these. This makes sure you get it right. 19. Now we have to obey bedmass because we have to do our exponent first. So that's negative 3x and negative 3x times So if we square this first, because we got PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S, we have to work this one out first. And so that's a 9x squared. Then we got, there's no inside of this to do because negative 2x and negative 3x is simplified. We have to do the exponent. We got that done. Then we multiply or divide. So we got a multiplication, negative 18x cubed. 2 plus 1 is 3. And over in B, P-E-M-D-A-S, keep track of that, the order of operations. This is negative 5x, negative 4x can't be simplified. We don't have any exponents outside the brackets. We have to multiply these two and divide these two before we do the subtraction. Now, if we want, we got a negative here and a negative here. We can make that a positive, add on the opposite, right? Double negative is a positive. But let's multiply these two. That gives us a 20x squared. 1 plus 1 is 2. We're dividing, so that gives us a 9x squared. 5 subtract 3 is 2. We multiplied and divide, done. Now we add. So we get like terms is x squared and a 29. Remember, if that was an x, we wouldn't be able to add these. Like terms is x squared, so 20 and 9 is 29. Number 20, evaluate. When evaluate each, x is negative 2, y is 3. So x is negative 2. So we put a negative 2 in brackets where we see an x. Now we obey P-E-M-D-A-S, the order of operations. The brackets are already done because it's only a negative 2. The exponent. So we have to do this exponent first. Negative 2 squared is 4. That means I have that exponent done. So I'll do the exponent, I'll square only, and I'll write the rest of the problem down. Now I do multiplication, division from left to right. That's a multiplication. That's a multiplication. And if I want to go with plus or negative, be my guest, go ahead. But 4 times 5 is 20. You could go with negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. You can go plus negative if you want, but you're still going to get a plus 8 minus 1. And as a 20, now we got the multiplication division done. There's no division, but we got to go multiplication and multiplication. We do not subtract. After we get the multiplication done, 28 minus 1 is 27. So PEMDAS is done. B, we have a 5. X is negative 2. Y is 3. Notice I put them in brackets. This is all multiplication. So I can multiply 5 by negative 2 to get negative 10. And then I multiply by 3 to get negative 30. When you have 3 multiplications back to back, you multiply the first 2, get that answer, and then multiply by the third one. Or you could go this way. You go 5, and you can multiply these 2 to get negative 6, and then multiply to get negative 30. But notice you can only multiply 2 of these, and then the third one is after that. Put your score down, add it all up, see how many you got right. Here we go. Now, find the sum of these. Sum means add. Oh, don't forget to pause your video, work all these out to see if you're gonna, how many you're gonna get right. Add means sum, so we got that, add on. Now I could go like that, and when I add, I get a negative 4x. Sum means add, so I'm gonna add these two together. So negative 7 and 3 is negative 4, and there's an x, like terms. Product means multiply. So that's 5x squared, bracket, negative 2x cubed. So add is sum, product is multiply. When we divide, we say we get a quotient. Like 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 is the quotient. And when we subtract, subtraction is called difference. So to multiply these, you get negative times negative is positive. 5 times 2 is 10. And we add the exponents to get a 5. There's x squared is x times x. X cubed is x times x times x. That's 5 x's. So you add the exponents. Parameter. We could go, that's an equilateral triangle with 3 sides equal. So that's 3s. So it's 3 times the one side. So s is 7x. So multiply. we get 21x. Or if you wish, you could go as 7x plus 7x plus 7x, because there's three sides, add them all up. 7, 7, 7 is 21x. So you can go with this formula, 3 times that, because the three of them are the same, or you can add them all up, your choice. Find the area of the rectangle whose dimensions are 9x. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. So the length is 9x, the width is 4x. When you multiply that, you get 36x squared. And you might say, well, how do you know which one is the length? Well, if you took a 1 and put it here, watch this. If you put a 1 in the place of x, you get a 9. If you put a 1 in the place of x, you get a 4. So I know that 9x and 4x that's the length and that's the width, but not to worry about that. You can't put negative numbers in there because then the length and width would be negatives. You can't put a 0 in because you won't have a rectangle. You'll have length and width is 0 and 0, so you have no rectangle. So these x's have to be positive numbers. So that's why I know when I put 1 in, I get a 9 to 4. I can put a 2 in and get 18 and 8, but I know that's the width. But not to worry about that. Do more of that when we get to parameters and areas and all that, which is another set of videos. Find the volume of the box as a polynomial in simplest form. So the volume is length times width times height. Note, there's no multiplication sign, understood. The length, you take the length to be what you want. It could be 3x squared. The width could be this one. We're not worried. But the height, most people put the height as x to the 5 because when it's in a box, the height is going up. So we have to multiply all these together. So if you're multiplying all these together, we can go 12x5 and then go x5. So we multiply these two, leave this one alone, and then multiply again. 12 times 1 is 12, and we add the exponents to get a 10. Or, knowing how to multiply, you can multiply 3 by 4 by 1 to get 12, and you add all these exponents up to get 10. So that's your choice. 26, we have to do PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. X, 5, x squared, 2x. None of these can be simplified inside the bracket. We have no exponents on the outside at all, on top of the outside the brackets. So we have to multiply and divide. So we've got to multiply, 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 and multiply. But we got, if you want, we could go plus -4. Double negative is a positive. That's plus a negative if you wish. But I'm going to multiply now. 3x times x squared is 3x squared. Negative 4x times 5 is plus negative 20x. And that gives me 6 times x squared is 6x squared. And negative 3 times 2x is plus negative 6x, or just subtract 6. Group your like terms. So the squares go together and the x's go together. And notice as the squares is first, the x's are, because that's the 2's and there's 1's. Add these up, you get a 9x squared. And subtract these, you get a negative 26x. And what score do you get on this page? Total it. That means if you total all the numbers at the bottom, come back to the first page and put that number here and divide 43 into this number, you get a decimal. Move your decimal 2 places, then you get your percent. Hopefully everything worked out to be a good score. And if you did make an error, go back and look at a video previous to that and say, oh, because all my videos with reviews, they're all lined up in a sequence. So the questions are made up depending on, in order of my videos. And if you like the review, then click on the like button. If you're not a subscriber, you may subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell because there's more videos coming. Write a comment if you wish. And visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com. There you have 3 sections about me, my degrees and teaching experience. Section on videos has the teaching strategies you're going to use to help you learn your math. And the section on content tells about the topics, the number of videos on each of those topics, and the black font is what's online right now on the YouTube channel, and the red font is what I'll be having there in the near future. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.